I have been getting destroyed on ladder by one very specific deck, and I had to make it for myself, and that is a type of lightning control deck. It is probably the best lightning deck I have played this format. Now, before I show the deck list, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like the video. About 80% of people who watch the videos are not subscribed. Do not let that be you. It's rude. Okay, here's the deck. So, it's nothing you haven't seen before. It's the Oricorio Zeraora core with one Tapu Koko and one Pikachu as supplemental attackers, except we are trying to be a bit demonic here. We are playing double silver, double red card in an effort to fix the problems with Suicun, which is absolutely everywhere. So, what are your main concerns when you play against Suicun? Well, you're hitting for weakness and you're hitting pretty decent damage against those Suicuns. It only really falls apart if they are able to start getting early Iridas or chaining Iridas. The silver and the red card are going to allow you to strip your opposing Suicun player's hand down, take out whatever you want out of it, and just kind of gives you a bit of edge in that matchup. Like, Mars doesn't feel as good, but silver against that matchup, and also like Dark Tina, it feels really good. Especially, it feels good to know what is going on in your opponent's hand and know that when you get a silver, you can sort of just play it. You don't have to think too much. There are times where you do want to hold the silver, but a lot of the times you know, like, oh, I have another silver in the back somewhere. I can use it then. Now, this first game, we are playing against a Guzzlord, who is the greatest at flipping coins I've ever seen. Back to the deck list. Our other supplemental supporters are Red and Guzma and a Cyrus. Cyrus is obviously very crucial because we're doing a lot of little tiny bits of damage, and we're going to need to be able to finish a knockout somewhere along the line. Now, in this game, one thing I want to mention is when you're playing against Guzzlord, a very good thing to do is if you see them use a Pokeball, it's a really good idea to rip a red card on them if they don't bench something. Because I know that what my opponent just did was he used Pokeball and he got a Guzzlord. If it was a Celesteela, that would have hit the bench. If it's a Guzzlord, the Guzzlord player never benches a second Guzzlord because I can just repel that Guzzlord in with no energy on it and start beating it up for free while he has to look for his Celesteela in order to move it. So I did that turn one. He then got his second Pokeball and got the Guzzlord back again because he didn't bench it. So in this matchup, all I'm really hoping for is that my opponent does not find Celesteela. And if they do find Celesteela, I'm going to need to use a silver plus a red card at the correct time in order to rip a Lusamine from their hand, so I don't have to worry about a Celesteela attacking my Oricorio. Oricorio causes so many problems for Guzzlord, obviously. You know, their only attacker does 100 damage. They can't power it up until something's taken a knockout. It's not really great for the Guzzlord. So, I don't believe it's this turn. I do want the Pikachu because my obvious win condition is get a Pikachu set up and then either use... Oh my gosh! Hold on. Stop the footage. Juicy Chicken with the subscription while I was recording B-roll footage. Shout out Juicy Chicken. You guys can be like Juicy Chicken too and have your name pop up in the video. Yes, I will thank every single one that I catch. Okay. So I need... My win condition is either going to be red plus Pikachu on that last Guzzlord or repel, knockout Celesteela if it ever hits the bench. So very important to get that Pikachu down. The Tapu Koko, because I didn't start it, is not going to do a whole lot. Tapu Koko is not bad into this matchup because you can just constantly Plasma Hurricane, I believe the attack is called. Do 20, attach a lightning energy. So you can kind of get around that. And at this point, I'm looking at... I mean, my hand's pretty darn good, right? And I'm thinking, well, I don't really want to repel or red card. He's not doing much. And then I take a look at his hand, and I look, and there's, like, dude, there's nothing there I really care about. There's a Cyrus, a Guzma, a red, and a repel. Nothing here I mind. If he uses repel, I can just win the next turn. If he uses, like, he can't use Cyrus right now, and he can't use Guzma, because I don't play any tools. So I don't care about the majority of the cards in his hand. Now, what I'm really hoping for is that my opponent comes up with Guzzlord. goes for a Grindcore, trying to take off my Oricorio's energy. If he does that, I just need him to discard none. Or if he goes Repel without some sort of hand disruption, I just win because I promote Pikachu, Elemental Switch, red, I win the game. And he goes Tyrannical Hold, doesn't touch my hand, so I'm able to promote Pikachu, hit him with the 2-piece combo, knock that Guzzlord out. Pikachu's so strong, and I love getting to play my Rainbow Pikachu, because that is... I'm really not a fan of Pikachu in general. I don't care for it. I don't have any nostalgia around the guy. But that art is so sick, man. That art is so sick. So that's a Guzzlord packed up, and it is a good matchup. We're actually going to, while this is playing, I have a little treat for you guys, for those who have stuck around this far. And that is, we're going to take a look here at the matchup chart during this game. One thing I want to mention is I have the best decks up here, right? And while we're playing against this Solgaleo, I want to say, dude, this deck, oh my gosh, every time I'm trying to play something like interesting or unique on the ladder, this deck shows up and makes my life horrible. It is just pretty good into a lot of the counter meta stuff, the weird things that people are playing, because they don't have a great way to deal with double Oricorio. That simple. Now let's take a look. So, very favored. That's going to be your Flareons, your Charizards, and your Guzzlords. There's not a whole lot of matchup data, but the percentages on these are insane. Charizard is like an 85% win percentage. Flareon, 70. Guzzlord, 65. Like, ridiculous. You see any of those matchups, you're pretty happy. And it really just comes from the double Oricorio. Like in Flareon, Flareon's probably the toughest one in theory out of all of them, despite the percentages saying something different. Because what you need to do is you need to set up, you know, let Oricorio do its thing in the active spot, prevent any Flareon from taking a knockout on like a 2-prizer, and set up a board state where once Oricorio gets knocked out, you can then knock out that 1-point Pokemon, or that once that 1-point Pokemon is knocked out, you have the return KO. It's like a weird... You try to make it so basically your opponent is gridlocked and they can't really do much to win the game with the Oricorios. Now, you can get early points on the baby Pokemon with Zeraora or Oricorio if you start either one of them. Even Tapu Koko with Plasma Hurricane can do it. But getting through a Flareon is going to be tough, so you want to try to very aggressively take out like the Jolteon that they have and make it really tough for them to then set up. Because if you go knock out Pichu, knock out Jolteon, if you can knock out that Jolteon with an Oricorio attack, that then means that your opponent has to can't send up a Pichu to power up another Jolteon, and you can win the game by, again, just kind of gridlocking them so they can't ever do anything. Like, they would have an answer to Oricorio, but because they can't go into Pichu to attach that lightning energy, they can't pull it off. Yeah, that'd probably be the hardest one, I would think, to me. 50-50s, Dark Tina actually comes in at like 56%. And there are other ways to run this deck. I'll tell you once we go back to the list. You know, you can play like Pokemon Center Lady. You don't need to play double silver, double red card, but I just like it because it's funny, and I think it's pretty good into Suicun. But you can run a more like balanced list that plays a Pokemon Center Lady, an X-Speed, a Giant Cape, a Electrical Cord, whatever that tool is called, all of those sort of things, to make the deck just a little bit more versatile and not all in on, hey, I'm just going to try to stop you from playing the game, and you got to deal with 2 Oricorios, which is never fun for really any deck. Greninja Oricorio also in the 50-50. I think that matchup just has to be better than Suicun, because the thing you really don't want from a Suicun is their Giratina. Like, that's the hardest part, is the Giratina. And if they start Oricorio or they start Froakie, you're pretty happy because you can get an early point on them. They're not drawing any additional cards through the Suicun. You have the double red card, double silver. It feels like it must be pretty good. Suicun overall, slightly unfavored. That's for the majority of matchups. With the double silver, double red card, I do feel like it's a little bit better. And then just straight up unfavored is Silvally Zeraora. They are a Zeraora deck that has a much, much better attacker. You don't have any way to deal with Zeraora. That makes sense. Zeraora's going to one-shot everything, or you're going to get into a 2-shot battle with your Tapu Koko and their Silvallis, and you're not going to come out ahead in that matchup. It is very, very difficult. So here we are. We're playing against a Suicun with literally the worst starter. The worst starter we can see. We do not want to see this Giratina in the active spot. We can't hit him for weakness. We can't get a quick knockout on him. And we don't want to see him early because this guy is like so difficult for our deck to deal with outside of the Pikachu. We really want this to be a late game problem. But because my opponent started Giratina, it is an early game problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Plasma Hurricane. I'm going to bench Zeraora, knowing that a Repel could come. I mean, I just looked at his hand, so it wasn't totally likely, but I knew the risk anyways. It felt worth it to get that one extra energy in play, and I'm not really thinking about Suicun's total damage output at the moment. I'm thinking, after looking at my opponent's hand, I think he's going to make me go through a Giratina, and he's going to make me go through a Greninja. That's how I'm going to have to win this game. But I got to use silver early, and I get my second silver. So I know what his hand is. I know his hand is a Cyrus, it's just a Cyrus at this point. That's all he has left in his hand. I know that's what he's working with. And I just ripped a leaf out, and I'm just hoping that we don't see any Iridas for the time being, because I'm looking at the board, and it seems like my way to win this game is going to be Tapu Koko into Greninja, follow up with a Zeraora attack, and then hopefully just get through the Giratina with the Zeraora. I also get the Oricorio. I decided to play this over just to see, because I would like to get rid of an Irida, and there's an Irida. If my opponent gets double Irida at any point in this game, I'm going to be in trouble. I also have Cyrus, so I know that I will likely be able to get a hit into this Giratina. Also, if he just doesn't have Irida, in 2 turns, I will win. So, again, we're just trying to keep the Iridas out of the deck for right now, because that is our route to victory. And I benched the Oricorio, and my thinking here is I know he has Cyrus, and he top decks the Irida. So now that Giratina has 80 HP, it's a little bit scarier, for sure. But I benched the Oricorio thinking, well, if my opponent top decks Suicun this turn, I'm going to need to put up the Oricorio, Elemental switch to it, knock out the Greninja, and then probably just red card away the Cyrus, and hope that he doesn't draw back into it off of the 3 cards I give him, which is, like, not great. But luckily, my opponent doesn't get Suicun. He gets Irida. Probably better that he got Irida over the Suicun if I had to weigh those two. And here, Giratina enters the active spot. And now I'm just 2 attacks away. He uses Mars, so I still know that that last card is Cyrus. I know it's not something I have to worry about. I don't care that that card is a Cyrus. It's not a big deal right now. And he Marses me into my own Cyrus, so I'm feeling pretty good. And at this point, like, my bench doesn't really matter all that much. You know, I'm thinking about it, but oh my god, again. Guys, Nathan Risley with the subscription. Nice, man. 2-in-1 video, unheard of. Anyways, I attack into the Giratina. My opponent top decks, he's got nothing for me. I knock out the Giratina. Honestly, one of the worst ways that can go, and we still got it done with the double silver. The double silver is just so disgusting. So gross. All right, we've talked about the matchups. Let's get back. Let's put the deck list up for you. Let you keep enjoying with that alongside. Oh, I got to fix it. There we go. No Spotify on the screen today because we are listening on YouTube. I want to listen to some relaxing Hoenn music. That is the playlist we have going on currently. Okay. Now, Dark Tina. I know it's supposed to be favored, but it gets scary, man. It gets scary because we're not playing any heals in this version. And Oricorio, yeah, it's gonna slow the guy down. It's gonna slow the guy down for sure. Now, here I'm debating, do I red card here? Like, he doesn't have a Darkrai, which is probably what I'm way more afraid of. I decide, yeah, bro, we'll go for it. He's got 5 cards in hand. Let's just hit him with the red card silver combo. That's what it's here for. And I see a Sabrina, Potion, and a Cyrus. Well, I know that the Sabrina is going to be more annoying later on. The Cyrus, I'm not really too concerned about it. And we're just going to start smacking this Giratina. So he's got the Potion in hand, but I know that I do have red in hand, which means as long as no other heals come down on this Giratina, I will still have the 3-hit combo on this thing. Also, if he doesn't have another heal here, he can't attack into my Zeraora without getting return knocked out by my Oricorio. So that feels pretty nice. He finally draws out of it. He gets a research and a Pokeball. No, here comes Darkrai. No, here he comes. He got to second Giratina. Oh my gosh, you never see that from a Darktina. Not having Darkrai turn 1 and then using Pokeball to get a Giratina? Bro, I mean, that's abysmal. That is abysmal for my opponent. I'm going to be honest. That's terrible. That sucks. And he ends up going for a Broken Space Bell, trying to set up the second one. And I go, well, it's in hand. I'm not really going to need this at any other point. So, Red, take the knockout. Try to just push my aggression forward. I need to just keep laying down damage while I can. Hoping to overwhelm my opponent. I really don't want to keep attacking into that Giratina and keep taking unnecessary Rocky Helmet damage. I have the Guzma in hand, but I would really like to use it on another Rocky Helmet because they do play too. But I get Marsed, so, I mean, that's to be expected. It's to be expected after you take your first 2 points. He didn't have it, but he must have found it off the research. And we're not left with much. I have the Guzma, so as soon as a Rocky Helmet goes down for the Darktina, I will be able to knock that off. And then, you know, I'm only taking 20 from the Darkrai ping every turn, which feels good. I just need to get rid of that last Rocky Helmet, and I'm fine. All I'm really looking for here is the second Oricorio, to be honest. If I can get the second Oricorio, I've already taken 2 points. I still have my Cyrus in the deck. I'm sure at some point I will be able to deal enough damage and find a win by getting rid of the... Oh, you won't believe it. A third subscription has hit. Conservato, thank you for the sub. Yo, if you haven't subbed at this point, you're just spiteful, I think. I think you're spiteful at my approach. And that's perfectly fine, but listen, I just really want more subscribers, okay? I think it's nice to have that number go up. It makes me feel good. Is that a problem? I don't think so. So now my opponent's doing the usual Darktina thing. Run in between the two. And I play this. This is something I think I shouldn't have done. I don't think I should have played. He got the Sabrina back. I'm gonna get rid of that. Because I'm thinking here. I'm gonna pause this for a second. Number one, I don't think I should have played the Pokeball. I think I should have waited for more basics to come because I really just want the second Oricorio. And at this point, I just got rid of Sabrina. My opponent has like 9 cards left in deck. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I have Tapu Koko. I could bench Koko, attach to it, next turn retreat Elemental Switch, but my opponent's going to retreat into this other Darkrai, nice and fresh, beautiful Darkrai, and then that's going to have 140. Tapu Koko can't knock that up. I'd have to top deck my own Cyrus, and that Giratina is ready to go with a Repel, Sabrina, whatever, to knock out a 2-point Pokemon on my bench. So now I'm in a really weird spot, and I don't like where I'm at. I think I played the Silver too early. And I think I played the Pokeball too early. I think I should have just held both. My opponent had already used his Mars. At worst, I'm probably looking at a red card from my opponent. But I don't think there's going to be much more hand disruption. So I really don't like the position I'm in at this moment. I find Research. I play Research. And I get Cyrus and Pikachu. And now I'm like, oh my gosh. He could have it this turn. I have no way of knowing. He hasn't played his Repel. He hasn't played his Sabrina. He's got 7 cards left. It's decent odds that he has one of the two. I can live for one more turn without benching something is what I ultimately decide. So I'm just going to zap. I can hold on for one more turn. One more turn, but then we're going to have to make a play. And he hits me with red card. And I'm like, no, dude. I get Guzma, double Elemental Switch. But I honestly, at the time, I was looking at this hand and I go, I lost. Like, I'm about to press concede. I can't believe this. I mean, like, what could I possibly get that would help? I don't know. And then I top deck Pichu and I'm ready to concede. And then I think, oh, wait. Double Elemental Switch. Wait. He gave me everything off that red card. Switch into Pikachu. Elemental Switch. Nuke a Darkrai. Well played. I played that way too schizo, but you guys, hey, that's for you guys to know. When you're just looking for that Oricorio, hold that Pokeball. You don't need to play it immediately. You need to get all your out. You need to just keep drawing basics so that Pokeball is way more likely to find the Oricorio. You know, 1 in 3 wasn't worth it. But once I drew like one more basic and it was a 50-50, I think that would have been fine to play the Pokeball. And again, same with the Silver. I should have held until I was going to make that play where I knew my opponent didn't have anything. So another thing for you guys, there are times where you want to hold the Silver and use it on the turn, or use it right before you need that one more turn to make whatever play you're trying to make to win the game. If you need to prevent your opponent from getting, I don't know, Cyrus on a turn, wait until you are, you know, set everything up and you actually are like, my opponent just can't have Cyrus this turn, and then I win. Stuff like that. All right, that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this evil deck. Go, I don't know, go be rude on the ladder with it, just like I have been, and many other people have been. It's not too bad. It's pretty fun. Pretty toxic, to be honest. Yeah, that's going to be it. Sub to the channel, like the video. See you on the next one.